Welcome back. In this video, we're going to add a finish line that will scroll to the left, and if we cross it, we'll use this later as a winning condition. Now, a finish line can simply be a variable that will set and update each frame of the game. Let's get started. Now, here's our for loop where we're initializing the values of each variable in the nebulae array. Just after this, I'm going to create a float called finish line. Now, this is going to represent the X position of an invisible finish line, and later we'll check each frame to see if Scarfy crosses this finish line, in which case we could win the game. Now, I'd like the finish line to have the value of the last nebula in the nebulae array. We can initialize this by getting the nebulae array and accessing the final element in the array. And that's going to have the index size of nebulae minus 1. Remember, elements start with an index of 0, so the nebula has size of nebulae elements in it, and the last element is size of nebulae minus 1. Now we're accessing this element, which is an anim data, and it has its own pos.x, and that's what I'm going to use to initialize finish line. Now your challenge for this lesson is to update finish line. We want to update finish line using the nebula velocity as well as delta time. We want the finish line to scroll to the left at the same speed as the nebula hazards. Pause the video and do this now. Now here in our program, we're going to scroll all the way down into the while loop and find the code where we're updating our nebula positions. Here we're doing it in this for loop where we're adding nebvel times dt to the x position of each nebula in the array. Just after this for loop, we're going to take finish line and add to it with plus equals and add nebvel times delta time dt. We can give this a comment and say update finish line. So in summary, we created a scrolling finish line variable. Later we'll use this finish line to check to see if Scarfy has run past every single nebula, and that can be our condition for winning the game. I'll see you in the next video.